Hey guys, my name is Leo and I created a three-dimensional world that runs right in a web browser, specifically Chrome web browser. And actually this I even made it so that you could move around. So just a real quick explanation. What we're seeing here is HTML divs. So we're seeing these are all HTML elements. Every single one of these squares is an HTML element, and they're styled with CSS. So basically everything that we're seeing here in this browser window is rendered with HTML and CSS. What this means is there's no additional software that needs to be downloaded, no additional hardware that needs to be downloaded other than Chrome browser itself and the computer that most people already have. So just by using Chrome, we can already start to navigate a three-dimensional world. And as a web developer, I thought this was pretty cool because I see my friends playing expensive games all the time. So things like Call of Duty and Destiny, which are amazing games. I've played them a lot myself. And naturally, playing or observing those games as a web developer, I started to wonder, well, can we do this in a web browser? Can web browsers begin to render these three-dimensional worlds? So I took some time and did some research. There are other amazing worlds online also that maybe have one or two rooms, but this was my attempt at building a massive world where anyone could walk around and begin to build things. So with this video, I wanted to gauge what the interest would be. I've seen other popular games on YouTube like Minecraft, obviously, and Cube World, and other voxel-based games, I think they're called. And so since this one runs in the browser, I think this means that just about anyone can play this game right away, and anyone can begin playing it for free without registration. And so I guess with this video, I wanted to gauge what the interest would be. Is this a really cool idea that could evolve into something amazing? Or is this kind of like a boring idea and no one would really want to play this in a browser for some reason because maybe the graphics are just way too bad right now? And I can touch more on that later. So if this concept seems interesting, please like the video and or comment on the video and let me know what your feedback is. Conversely, if this is just a really boring concept that no one thinks they would ever use because other games or other worlds are so much more immersive and entertaining or what have you, then go ahead and dislike the video and you could leave a constructive feedback comment there too. But if this is interesting, then please keep watching. I can share some of the things that I've written or programmed in this world so far. As you can tell, it's nothing like Call of Duty. Obviously, it's very cube-like, and the graphics are all solid colors right now for the most part. But there are some advantages of having HTML divs here, which I can get into shortly also. So with that being said, if you're still watching at this point and you're still interested in what I did with this world and maybe even a little bit more of how I made it, then please keep watching and I'll share some of the things in this world. Okay, so the first thing that I did in this world was after I got the world to render, I used JavaScript to accept keyboard commands. So there are 6 keys that the world accepts right now, and they are the WSAD keys and the left and right arrow. The up and down arrow I'll probably program eventually also, but basically the W key goes forward, the S key goes backward, the A key strafes to the left, and the D key strafes to the right. So those are all the move keys. And then the left and right simply are the look keys. So I can look to the left, look to the right. And that's pretty much it. The JavaScript also accepts multiple keys at once. So I can, for example, go forward while looking to the left and then to the right. So here I am going forward and then look to the left and look to the right, look to the left again, look to the right, and spin all the way around. I can go in a circle moving forward while holding down the right arrow, and you'll notice I can press multiple keys at once. It even works where I can hold down A and D at the same time, so that is strafe left and straight right. I can hold both of those at the same time, and it basically does nothing. I'm holding them down now, and as it should do nothing. But I can I can go forward and strafe right at the same time, so I'll demonstrate that here. I'm holding down W and D at the same time, and similarly I can strafe backwards and left at the same time, so S and A keys at the same time, and I can look around. So those are sort of the keyboard commands that I've installed so far. It would be, I think, pretty straightforward to also program the up and down arrow so that we can look down, further down at the ground or maybe more into the sky. So those are the keyboard commands so far. Next, I began to program the ability for anyone to start building blocks. So these cube blocks, we can see some examples here. We've got a blue cube, red cube, and we also have this layer here which sort of looks like grass. And so if I click on the side of this grass, for example, I can build more grass. So I'm basically making this world bigger. If you can imagine, when I first started the world, there was no grass at all. So I had to put some layers of grass first so that I could build even more grass. And we can expand this grass just by clicking. So the JavaScript is also detecting clicks here. I should mention that also. So I can add more grass to the world like this. And now that I've added grass, I can begin to build on top of this grass. So here I can select the different cubes, or I can delete existing cubes with the trash can icon. So if I click on red, I can put a few red cubes here, and then I can walk around these red cubes to get a better look at them. And of course, as you might imagine, I can do green cubes or black cubes. Any color cubes will render here. I can also build cubes on top of cubes. So, for example, I could put a wall of gray cubes on top of here, and then I could put another layer of green cubes. Could put some more gray cubes here. And as you can see, it would be pretty cool to begin building some things that have these sorts of patterns in all different colors. And then as I walk away from these walls, it's kind of cool to see these walls from a distance. So plain color cubes, and by the way, my Chrome is slowing down a little bit, so I probably need to optimize this world a little bit, and I can talk more about optimization later also. There's a lot of optimization that went into this already. But that is cube building, and I can delete cubes. So if I want to get rid of this one here, I'll click on it. For some reason, deleting cubes takes a few seconds, and I haven't figured out why. So this hasn't always been the case. It used to be instant, and so I'm still researching. That's a bug that needs to be fixed. I think it'll be an easy fix. Obviously, cubes need to delete instantly. Not sure why it's taking so long. It could have something to do with all the cubes that are being rendered. That could be it. It has to find the cube ID, delete it, and that's kind of maybe that's a lengthy process with all these cubes being rendered. So those are plain colored cubes. Now in the distance, you may have noticed that there are these brick cubes, or there's one brick cube here. And I was toying with brick cubes and grass and wood, stone, other materials, and what ended up happening is if I look at this entire world and I've got grass everywhere and brick and wood in the distance, the world starts to slow down pretty quickly. So maybe next year when browsers get a little more powerful, we can introduce some more brick cubes. But I can quickly show an example just by modifying one of these existing cubes. So I did brick and wood so far. So I can right click on this and inspect. Let me change the class of this cube real quick. And it's taking a while actually. Let's see. What is, so maybe even at this point already the browser's starting to slow down and needs to be optimized a bit. Let's see. It should in any moment now it should give me the element of this. Okay, there we go. So that took a second. So if I take this cube and I change it from a hex blue cube to say a wood cube and hit enter, I'm sort of hacking my own world here. So it takes a while to right click right now and inspect the element. So I've got to work on that. But see, so anyway, I'm illustrating that, okay, so wood cubes are possible and it looks pretty cool. And if I layer these wood cubes on top of each other or next to each other, it begins to look like a seamless wooden wall, which I think is pretty cool. But again, it slows down. It starts to slow down my Mac somewhat. So I'm hesitant to put in these wood cubes because we'll have walls of wood and brick and stone, and then the browser might start to slow down for a lot of users. It's already starting to slow down, and I can touch more on that. So maybe I will touch on that now, just real quick. So one of the ways that I optimized the world was I made it so that it's not loading the entire world at once. You'll notice that as I walk away from cubes in the distance, that these cubes either disappear or appear. And that's one way I optimize the world, so that the browser's not rendering an entire world in the distance. It's only rendering cubes that are, say, within 300 pixels of my main body here. So as I walk forward, more cubes will start to appear. And I've got to optimize this. It's actually much slower now. It could also be because I'm recording with QuickTime while I'm playing this game, so that could have something to do with it. But as I'm walking, it's still it's not as smooth as I would like it to be. So one of the objectives will make it smoother, but this also makes it so that the world renders fairly quickly. It's not crashing on my computer yet. And by the way, if I walk this way, I'll show you a little castle that I made. So as I walk down this path here, there's a castle. And I basically made this with gray cubes and black cubes. So that's just a quick example. I guess that concludes what I wanted to say about cubes right now. Basically, to summarize, there are plain colored cubes that are buildable right now, but in the future, I think we could easily see some brick cubes and these wood cubes. Oh, I thought I made it wood. I guess that went away. But so those are the cubes. Let's see what else is there. Okay, so maybe briefly I'll talk about the advantage of rendering a world in HTML rather than, say, via Xbox or via Minecraft. And one of the advantages is every side of this red cube here, for example, is a div. It's basically an HTML element. So what that means is anything that's possible in HTML, I can do in this div right here. I can add text, add various images, add multiple images, even add an iframe, and that's actually exactly what I did here. So I put a simple YouTube embed code here, which is an iframe. On this cube service, you can see I added text. So this text says back, this text says top. You can't really see it. But this text says back, and I can even copy it. It's basically text, and I can paste. Oops. So somehow I ended up copying front, back, left. But basically, if I just clicked on back, I wonder if that would work. Copy, paste. Oh, somehow it's selecting back, front, back, left. But basically, this is real text. This isn't an image. This is actual text that the browser's rendering. Maybe if I inspect it while that's loading. Oh, okay, there we go. So that loaded pretty quickly somehow, and we can see I've got back text here. I can change this to something like hello world, hit enter, and it says hello world there. This is a YouTube video embedded on the side of a cube. I can also put Facebook share buttons, Twitter tweet buttons. Anything you can imagine on a web page can basically be on the side of one of these cubes or on the side of multiple cubes. And so I'll just click play to prove that this works. Let me turn the audio down. Hopefully the audio is not audible because I don't want to get flagged for copyright or something like that on YouTube. But basically, as you can see, this is an actual YouTube video playing, and somehow I lost my JavaScript control. Okay, so at this point, the game is starting to slow down much more than I'd like it to. It wasn't doing this before, so I think it's the QuickTime recording that I'm doing while playing this game. But so you'll kind of have to take my word for it since I can't demonstrate it. But while the video is playing, you can still walk around, view the video at different angles. And ideally, I'd like to make it so that if you go far enough away from the video, that the video starts to fade out or stop, much like it does in other games. So that pretty much concludes it. Maybe I'll fill up some of this grass while I'm here. But that basically concludes this introductory video. And I wanted to, again, just to reiterate what I said at the beginning, if this seems interesting to you, then please like the video and comment on it and let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll continue to evolve and work on this game. You know, this game is written purely in HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Here's the JavaScript here. I don't even mind showing the JavaScript because it's publicly available anyway through the browser. So there's JavaScript here. I created some services such as an Ajax service, which get data via PHP and so on. And I could even get more into the programming aspects if that's what people want to see. But if you like this, please like the video and leave a comment, leave any questions, and that'll sort of inspire me to continue working on this, and I can share progress with viewers. Or, again, like I said before, if this is completely boring, if this is so lame that no one wants anything to do with this, then that's fine too. This was still fun to work on regardless, and I may still work on it even if no one likes it, because I just want to see what the limitations of this are. And that pretty much wraps it up. So thanks so much for watching, and look forward to hopefully some feedback on this very rudimentary, pedestrian, unevolved game. Thank you.